Congratulations on getting the little Larry in your Lola Lawrence swag bag. And thank you so much for coming out to support Lawrence area artists. So to stitch this little Larry ornament, we're going to do a basic back stitch around the outside of the state. And you'll see in the video above how to thread a needle, and if that's something that you're needing help with. I'm just doing a basic back stitch where you come up from the back and poke the needle down into the previous hole of the last stitch. Pull down. You don't have to pull real tight. Come up from the back, another stitch length up. Your stitches can be as wide or as narrow as you want them to be. Just pull through. And you'll do this all the way around the great state of Kansas. I stitch with all 6 pieces of thread. It's up to you. You can do a more narrow stitch by pulling the thread apart. And we are at our final stitch here. So what we will do, fix my thread here, poke it down to finish our stitch, pull it through, flip it over. Just run your needle and thread underneath the last stitch, make a little loop, pull your thread through it. Do that a couple of times so that it doesn't come loose. And you'll cut it off from there. Okay, and so now we have the little French knot that we'll put on here to indicate the amazing city of Lawrence. So I have another piece of thread and I have the little knot tied at the bottom. And so I'm going to come up through the middle of the little dot. Place my needle against my thread and wrap it 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to poke it down onto the little dot. Just try to not put it in the exact same hole as the other thread. And hopefully I can do this the first time correctly. There we go. Pull it through, not too tight, just slow. And you've got a little French knot there. You can do multiple if you want. Go to the back and you're just going to want to pull through, much like we did the previous stitch. Run it through one more time for good measure. The last stitch that we have here is for the little Larry. We'll also do a back stitch for it. When you're turning corners, you've got a little bit of, you have to take your stitches, make them a little bit tighter. Just a basic L. Be sure to visit eatdrinkstitch.com/shop and you'll notice that there is a brand new listing up for the next Eat, Drink, Stitch Embroidery Happy Hour that's happening at Decade. We are coming back to Lawrence. If you're not familiar with the happy hour already, the premise is that it's for new and also seasoned stitchers. And we come together. I have a couple of patterns that are already transferred on fabric. It's very much a party atmosphere. Come in, grab your fabric. You can bring your own supplies, or I will have kits there available for you to purchase. And you can eat and drink while you stitch. I do come around and give basic instruction, or if you're wanting to try something a little bit more advanced, if you get brave, we can do that too. And it's always a good time. You can either come alone and meet people while you're there, or you can bring a group of friends. There's no crafty experience necessary to come to this. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people that are there have never even threaded a needle before. They're very much beginners and leave with a completed masterpiece. So we will be doing it every other month, and Decade will be our permanent home. We're so excited to work with them there. Okay, so you can kind of see I'm doing some chunkier letters here, kind of giving it a very, I don't know, digitized look, if you will, kind of very homemade looking. To round those corners, you can make it a little bit smaller. You could even, when you're working with text, take this down to just 1 or 2 threads to make life a little bit easier. But I just really love stitching with 6 strands. Y is for yes, you are almost done with your first embroidery piece, or maybe if you stitch often, I'm hoping that you had a good time with your Lola swag bag item. Last stitch, and again, flip it over, make a loop or 2, make sure it's on there tight. You can see that I'm having to pull a little bit on my thread. That's because I am stitching with 6 pieces. And there you go. You can either turn this into a wall hanging or cut it out to be a patch, sew it onto a pillow, whatever you'd like to do, but it's just a cute little thank you for saying thanks for coming out and supporting Eat, Drink, Stitch, Hey Paul Studios, and Lola Lawrence.